Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
A very good evening and welcome to Weekend Primetime News live from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. I'm Florin Rajendran and these are your headlines. Female university student murdered near the LPT bus stop. Suspect in custody. MP Dr. Harsha De Silva charges that EPF funds are being used in dubious trades on the stock exchange. Signs that Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam will not attend Narendra Modi's swearing in. US President Barack Obama takes a leisurely stroll. Let's now cross over to the main news desk for these stories and much more.
Thank you very much, Florin, for bringing us the headlines. A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News live here on Newsfirst. I'm Mahina Bongzo with a comprehensive report on your top story tonight. Up next is Crime Watch.
A second-year student of the University of the Visual and Performing Arts was found murdered at dawn today in Alpitia. The 22-year-old has been identified as K.A. Dimasha Gayaniki. The police discovered her body this morning inside a building adjacent to the Alpitia bus stop. Preliminary investigations revealed that Dimasha, a resident of Thalgaswala in Niyagama, left home early this morning with the intention of travelling to Colombo. The Newsfirst team visited Alpitia today to get to the root of the murder.
Dimasha, who arrived home yesterday, left at 3 in the morning to head back to Colombo.
Newsfirst also spoke to Dimasha's mother.
I called her to come home to go to the bank. I escorted her to the bus stop at 3 in the morning. She tutors English to students from grade 1 to 5 from a private school on Saturdays.
After leaving home at 3 a.m., Dimasha arrived at the Alpitia bus stop on a Colombo-bound SLTB bus from Mapalagama. The conductor of the bus noted that he knew the murdered student.
She purchased a ticket to Alpitia. She got off from Alpitia. When she was getting off the bus, I asked her why she was getting off from Alpitia. She told me that she was to join some friends and go to Colombo.
Dimasha's body was discovered not far from the Alpitia bus stop.
The bus from Mapalagama to Colombo stops here in Alpitia. The distance from this location to the crime scene is roughly 50 meters.
While the police say that a love affair is also at the center of this murder, Dimasha's mother says that Dimasha and the youth in question had an argument when they spoke over the phone yesterday.
Last evening, she received a phone call from the person she was romantically involved with. I too spoke to him. They had a relationship for 3 years. He threatened her. She then said that she was at fault for falling in love with a person like him, for not listening to her parents.
This is a building under construction, owned by a private institution located close to the Alpitia bus stand. The lifeless body of Dimasha was found here after information came through the police emergency hotline.
The police say that the youth too had arrived in Alpitia at dawn today, adding that whatever had transpired had followed his arrival. The police noted that Dimasha had 6 wounds on her body. The Judicial Medical Officer in Alpitia, Susantha Lelawala, arrived at the location today and carried out an investigation of the crime scene. The magisterial inquest was conducted by the acting magistrate of Alpitia, Janaka Ruwanpura. The police arrived at the crime scene this afternoon with the suspect in tow. The The police identified the suspect as a 24-year-old soldier attached to the Tantri Malay army camp. A communique issued by Army headquarters notes that the Army commander has instructed senior officers to provide all assistance to the police to ensure the success of investigations. The communique notes that the Army commander had reiterated that individuals involved in such crimes would face disciplinary action regardless of their status, adding that if the suspect is found guilty by a civil court, then steps will be taken to bring him before a court-martial and take action to remove him from the army. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana says that the suspect is being interrogated. Dimasha's body was taken to the Karapitia Teaching Hospital this afternoon.
UMP parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva charges that monies from the Employees Provident Fund are being used for dubious trades on the stock exchange. At a media briefing convened yesterday, Dr. Harsha De Silva noted that the EPF had incurred losses through the purchase of stocks in companies with artificially inflated share prices. The MP cited an example of how funds had been invested in the shares of a certain company to highlight his point.
එතකොට මේ කට්ටිය දැන් අපි අහලා තියෙනවනේ උස්සනවා කියලා pump and dump මේ පුද්ගලයෝ රුපියල් 50 60 ඉඳලා.
Within this poultry farm, these individuals have raised share prices from 50 to 60 rupees, as far as 250 rupees per share. They raised the share price of the poultry farm from 50 rupees. They pumped it and then dumped it. And who brought it when it was dumped?
උස්සලා ඇතෑරියා. උස්සලා ඇතෑරියා. අතාරිනකොට කවුද ගත්තේ? EPF එක නෙන්න හත්තිලාවේ ගත්තේ. EPF එකේ.
It was the EPF. They bought it on an average cost of 187 rupees per share. They bought the shares when it was at this level. Now it is going down. I bought shares in this company at 36 rupees a share last week. Now where is the profit and loss in this?
බහින කලාව මේක මං ගත්තේ ගිය සතියේ රුපියල් 36යි මේකේ කොටසේ මිල. දැන් පුළුවන් නම් කියන්න මේ ලාභය මේ පාඩුව උපලබ්ධි නොවුද? මේක අන්ටියලයිස්ද? මේක 184ට බොක් ගාලා යනවාද උඩට? කුකුල් කොටුවල කොටස් වල ආයෝජනය කරන්න ඔවුන්ට නීතියෙන් බලයක් නැහැ.
They do not have the legal right to invest in that poultry farm. This is complete fraud. The monies of the Provident Fund can only be invested in established blue-chip companies, not in poultry farms. Now they are saying that they have no money and they are asking you to take your payments in small amounts. Did you work for 30 years to take out small amounts?
ඊට පස්සේ කියනවා අනේ අපිට සල්ලි දෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. EPF එක එකපාර ගන්න නැතුව අපි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පොඩ දුන්නොත් හොඳ නැද්ද කියලා. පොඩ ගන්නද අවුරුදු 30ක් වැඩ කරේ.
We're moving to a story that's making headlines world over. In what has been billed as a historical move, Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has confirmed his attendance at the swearing-in ceremony of India's Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi on Monday the 26th in New Delhi. He will be the first Pakistani Prime Minister to attend the swearing-in of an Indian Prime Minister since independence in 1947. However, while many have hailed Modi's decision to invite the SAARC heads of state for the ceremony in Delhi, domestic pressure is being exerted. Following indications from the AIADMK that Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jairam would not attend the swearing-in ceremony owing to the invitation extended to Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa, the BJP has appealed to Jayalalitha to participate in the ceremony.
Indian media reports say the Tamil Nadu state president of the BJP, Pon Radhakrishnan, appealed to Chief Minister Jayalalitha to participate in the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi. Speaking to reporters yesterday, Radhakrishnan had said that some people in the state were trying to create trouble by raising unnecessary issues. He added that while some vested interests are trying to denigrate the image of Narendra Modi from the beginning, the BJP-led NDA government would ensure the welfare of Tamils in Sri Lanka and fishermen in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, Indian media reports say that despite the opposition to the invitation of the SAARC leaders for the swearing-in ceremony, neither Prime Minister-designate Narendra Modi nor the BJP are showing any signs of backing down, being armed with a majority in the Lok Sabha. The leader of the Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, M. Karunanidhi, and the founder of the PMK, S. Ramados, had called for the invitation extended to President Mahinda Rajapaksa to be reconsidered. The MDMK General Secretary Y. Gopalaswamy, alias Waiko, an ally of the BJP, is reported to have appealed to Modi and BJP President Rajnath Singh to prevent President Rajapaksa from attending the swearing-in ceremony, an appeal that was rejected by both leaders. The BJP has hailed the invitations extended to SAARC leaders as the beginning of a new relationship.
जो न्योता दिया था वो नवाज शरीफ ने कबूल किया है.
Nawaz Sharif has accepted the invitation. Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar and Sri Lanka. All these are neighbors. Neighbors can't be changed. It is the beginning of a new relationship. It is good news.
की नई शुरुआत हो रही है. बहुत अच्छी खबर है.
Meanwhile, the Tamil National Alliance, in a letter addressed to Narendra Modi, has requested an audience with him and others in the new Indian government at the earliest opportunity. The letter, dated today and bearing the signature of TNA leader MP R. Sambandhan, congratulates Modi on his election on behalf of the Tamil people in Sri Lanka and expresses hope to work closely with Modi and his government to further strengthen genuine ties between Sri Lanka and India. In his letter to Modi, Sambandhan notes that both during the armed conflict and after its conclusion, the Sri Lankan government made commitments to both India and the international community to bring about an acceptable political solution. While noting that unfortunately this commitment has not been honoured, the TNA leader informs India's PM-designate that on the contrary, the Sri Lankan government is aggressively pursuing an agenda which undermines all efforts towards reconciliation, permanent peace and harmony, and further creates an environment that could promote hostility, which the Tamil people certainly do not desire. Sambandhan notes that while the TNA considers it is their duty to bring these matters to the notice of Modi at the earliest possible opportunity, they do so in the belief that an honourable peace, based on justice and equality, must prevail, and that India's role would ensure that. Security has been heightened in New Delhi ahead of the grand ceremony where Narendra Modi will take oaths as the head of the government of the world's largest democracy. The three-time Chief Minister of the western state of Gujarat is an outsider to Delhi's power circle. The low-caste son of a tea stall owner, his rise to power signals an end of an era dominated by descendants of India's first Prime Minister, independence hero Jawaharlal Nehru. Modi has given India its first parliamentary majority after 25 years of coalition governments, with his party winning more than 6 times the seats garnered by Congress. The ceremony will be held at the stately presidential palace or Rashtrapati Bhavan in Delhi, where Modi will take oaths before President Pranab Mukherjee.
UNP General Secretary Tissa Thanayake says that Sri Lanka can no longer fool India now that Narendra Modi has taken over the leadership of the country. The parliamentarian shared these views during an event held in Kandy today.
It is a good sign that Narendra Modi invited the Sri Lankan president. He in turn invited the chief minister of the northern province. Our president has a habit of taking a plane load of people with him whenever he is invited. The period where they were able to fool the Indians has come to an end. Narendra Modi is not a leader who could be fooled, unlike Manmohan Singh. He has many years of political experience and he does not need to act according to the want of others. However, looking at his parliamentary majority and the way in which he has taken decisions previously, we see that more work needs to be done to solve the issues in our country, else the repercussions could be dangerous. We wish to warn the government about this as well.
Well, President Obama took a walk on Wednesday, but not just any stroll on the south lawn of the White House. He went outside the secure confines of the complex to chat with normal people on the streets of downtown Washington.
You gotta catch folks by surprise. Can't be regular. Can't be routine.
President Obama chatted with about 24 people in a 3-minute video posted to the White House YouTube channel early Thursday.
Expect having all these folks It's for your birthday? Happy birthday. You're having a good visit. Thank you. Thank you. How you doing? How's business?
Some of the normal civilians who Obama approached on his walk gasped to see him out and about, close enough to touch.
My name is Han.
Good to see you. That's my mother's friend, so I like her. What's your names?
Cora and Mother.
Cora?
I'm Cora.
You're Cora? How old?
With Obama's unusual departure from the bubble, the men and women of the Secret Service who are responsible for protecting his life faced a period of heightened alert.
4.5. 4 3/4.
4 3/4. Well, we got some special White House M&Ms for you.
Witnesses said that in addition to the agents in the immediate vicinity, the Secret Service established an outer ring of protection.
What's your name? Good to see you, Patrick.
Oh my God.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ryan. Good to see you, Ryan. How are
I'm
you?
here and I'm so
Good to see
excited.
you. Well, give me a hug.
Oh.
I'm glad you're excited.
Oh,
I'm excited.
can I get a picture?
Yes, you
oh
can.
my gosh, it's like the best day of my life.
Oh, you got to get in there, Ryan.
Come on, Ryan.
Come on.
Oh, Pat, do you want one too?
Come on, Pat. I'll get it. He'll take it. He'll take it.
Oh my gosh.
Come
Someone's going to think you're like wax.
The leader of the National Freedom Front, Minister Vimal Veeravansa, today submitted to President Mahinda Rajapaksa the proposals that were adopted by his party at its recently concluded convention. Minister Veeravansa presented the proposals to the President when he met the head of state at Temple Trees this morning. The Presidential Media Unit said that the contents of the proposals were extensively discussed at this meeting, adding that the President had expressed his hope to discuss these proposals with SLFP seniors in the near future. The President had also noted that he would not falter when it comes to taking political and economic decisions when the need arises for the betterment of the future of the country. The police media spokesperson states that 3 people have been apprehended under suspicion of assaulting 2 police constables who were engaged in traffic duty in Wilgamore Hasalaka Road. The hospitalized suspects claim that they were assaulted by the police.
The 2 constables were stationed in the Wilgamore junction to control traffic along the Wilgamore Hasalaka Road. The police stated the constables were assaulted by the passengers of a 3-wheeler when they attempted to inspect the vehicle. The 2 policemen were hospitalized subsequent to the assault. The passengers of the 3-wheeler were arrested in connection to the assault and were subsequently hospitalized.
The 3-wheeler is new. I did not have my number plate. I had one which was printed by a computer. When I tried to show my license and insurance documents, they said that they don't need to see them because I don't have a number plate. They told the passengers in the back to get down as they were not required. I refused to hand over the key of the 3-wheeler and I remained in it. They assaulted me and hit my head with a torch. They got me into the jeep and continued to assault me. They asked for the key. When we refused, he grabbed us by the neck and took us here. Then, when the jeep arrived, they put us into it in a hurry. Two constables were assaulted at around 8:30 p.m. yesterday while controlling traffic in the Wilgamore town. Preliminary investigations have revealed that the suspects in the 3-wheeler had assaulted the policemen after they were stopped. It is also reported that there is an army deserter amongst the suspects.
The suspects were placed under remand custody till the 30th of this month after being produced before the acting magistrate of Nabula.
"140 incidents of police officers being attacked since the 1st of June 2013. 4 police officers are killed. A group of police officers shot at while attempting to apprehend the suspect in a theft. OIC who attempted to resolve a conflict that arose at a farm shot and wounded. Chairman of the Ambilapitiya Pradesh Sabha attacks 2 police officers for pulling over and inspecting 3 persons travelling on a motorcycle without helmets. Police sub-inspector and constable who were inspecting a suspicious individual stabbed. A group of police officers who raided an illicit liquor brewery attacked. A police officer and his wife are murdered in their home. OIC of the Borala police killed after being caught under a half-felled tree cut down by protesting area residents. 2 police officers attacked while on duty. 2 constables abducted while inspecting vehicles. One of them is murdered. Most recent incident. A police constable is murdered. For your attention.
In
the recent past, we have seen the police protecting politicians. Furthermore, politicians also request numerous favors from police officers as well. Because of such reasons, the respect the public have towards the police begins to wane. It is because of this lack of respect from the public that assaults take place. Why aren't certain people not afraid to kidnap police officials and murder them? This is the issue. There are plenty of honest, disciplined and active police officers. However, if one incident takes place where the people lose faith, then it affects the entire police department. I feel that this change in the way that society thinks has led to such incidents.
A seminar on militarization and the collapse of law was held at the Hindu Cultural Hall in Kandy yesterday.
There is sometimes a lack of legal education amongst judiciary personnel, a lack of transparency, not enough budget, and of course a lack of integrity and a lack of independence. If law is taken into the hands of groups, whether they are of Buddhist priests or of individuals, if the law is taken into the hands of police who feel free to beat up undergraduates, if the law is taken into the hands of those who can kill a suspect in police custody or in prison custody, then that is not the rule of law. So we need to have a major transformation in the attitude. There has to be training of our police, there has to be training of our prison officials, and all this has to take place in order to ensure that a rule of law prevails in our country.
There are a handful of individuals who control every institution. If the police is inquiring into some matter, they have the ability to intervene. They may have been elected by the people, but any democratic country expects that such power would not be limited to a few persons. Look at the militarization of our country. On one hand, the army is selling vegetables, while on the other, they are managing hotels. When I was exiting the Madhura Expressway, I saw around 500 buses that were utilized to bring in crowds for the May Day rally. These buses had stickers and banners claiming to be the supporters of various individuals. These stickers were pasted by the army personnel, and they are even being used to make announcements. I am only saying what I have seen, but there are many other incidents as well.
A short while ago, Newsfirst aired a statement by UMP parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva about EPF funds being allegedly misused. Now, following this story, we have been inundated with phone calls from the public who want to know the identity of the company concerned. Newsfirst will be investigating into the matter both independently and through the Securities and Exchange Commission, and will reveal all details soon. Still in local news, a number of fish rarely seen were caught along the eastern coast of the island recently.
A rare fish weighing nearly a ton was caught in seas near Saukandi in Erevur. Our correspondent stated that the fish was sold for 112,000 rupees at an auction held on the Saukandi beach. Meanwhile, a group of fishermen that went out to sea from the Hambantota fishing harbour came across a rare fish.
Our fishermen came across this fish. We were delighted by the fact that it was seen in our harbour.
Our correspondent stated that the fish was over 45 kilograms and was sold for 5,000 rupees. Environmentalist attorney at law Jagat Gunawardhan has said that the fish is known as an ocean seafish.
Well, intriguing footage there. Up next is Action TV.
The investiture of 50 prefects of Anla College, Nugegoda was held yesterday. In the absence of rules and regulations imposed via the relevant circulars governing the appointment of prefects to public schools, individual schools use systems that are unique to them when it comes to appointing prefects. The investiture of prefects is an important tradition at this school, which was initially planned to be held on the 8th of January this year, 4 months and 15 days ago.
For 5 months, these students have performed their duties without being officially appointed as prefects. When we applied for 25 prefects to participate at the World Conference on Youth, they asked us how children not in uniform and without the prefect badges could be sent for the conference.
The postponement of the investiture of prefects, which also deprived prospective prefects of Anla College the opportunity to participate at the World Conference on Youth, was caused by a fax message issued to the school by the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission on the 7th of January. On the 10th of January, Action TV carried an expose on the intervention of the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission in the appointment of the prefects of Anla College prior to the sending of the fax message. Action TV cited an entry made by the principal of the college at the time in the school's logbook on the 3rd of December. In her entry, the principal notes that a commissioner at the Human Rights Commission had informed her that if she were to go ahead with the investiture of the prefects, she would be taken before the Supreme Court. However, the principal also notes that she was not called to the commission on that day for an inquiry into a complaint lodged with regard to the appointment of prefects. However, the commission, which later noted that it had received a complaint on this matter via telephone, later noted that an individual belonging to a certain organization had come forward as the complainant and recommended that Anla College carry out the process of appointing prefects once again. Incidentally, this was a recommendation that was presented following an inquiry that did not involve either the complainant or the respondents. Although this process of appointing prefects was carried out once again with the intervention of the Ministry of Education as well, it has been affirmed that there was no wrong in the system followed initially. Accordingly, prefect badges were pinned yesterday on the same 50 students who were initially selected to be prefects. The views expressed by the principal at the investiture of prefects yesterday makes it evident that the interference run by a commissioner of the Human Rights Commission initially, the fax message that was sent by the commission and the events that unfolded since then was naught but meaningless drama.
As per the recommendation of the Human Rights Commission, we held interviews for prefects once again. Although we reminisce on this as a farcical affair today, it was a serious issue when it cropped up. What we can say is that the human rights of these children were violated at the time.
On a parting note, it has now been 4 months and 8 days since the Ceylon Teachers Union lodged a written complaint with the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission based on facts contained in the logbook of Anla College, Nugegoda.
The much anticipated 9th Radio Asia Conference concluded in Colombo today.
Radio Asia 2014, which was held over 3 days, featured a number of preeminent speakers and several workshops. The conference was held under the theme, It's All About Content, Positioning New Radio in the Knowledge Society. Foreign and local experts from across the Asia-Pacific region shared their expertise with the participants at the Radio Asia 2014 conference today, covering a broad range of topics, from radio journalism and social media, selling radio in crowded media space, radio and music rights, to case studies on leading the way in competitive markets. Radio Asia 2014, organized by the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, was hosted by MTV MBC and Newsfirst.
I think it's a great opportunity for people to come outside of their stations and really discuss ideas with what they're doing in their local stations, in their region, and how that might have an impact on other people in other regions around the world as well. So I think it has an immense amount of value.
And I think it's interesting for the commercial operators, I hope, to learn something about what we're doing in the public sector as well. So to compare notes like that.
For the first time, I heard about many aspects of radio broadcasting, not only in Asia but all over the world.
conference like this gives us that opportunity to meet and discuss and continue find new ways to discover and to see how we can actually do things better.
The ABU Radio Song Festival Gala Night, held parallel to Radio Asia 2014, worked off at Stein Studios in Ratmalani yesterday. The Gala Night featured several young, fresh, unsigned musicians from across the Asia-Pacific region. The musicians delighted the audience with their broad repertoire of genres, covering the cultural richness of the Asia-Pacific region. Moving on to headline-making news in the international arena. Thailand's military had ordered 35 more people, including prominent academics, to report to them by this afternoon as the post-coup crackdown continues. The move comes a day after the army ordered more than 100 politicians, including ex-Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, to come to the military council. Yingluck was detained in Bangkok yesterday and spent the night in custody. Many on the army's latest list have previously been charged with speaking or acting against the monarchy. Meanwhile, several hundred protesters have taken to the streets of Bangkok to show their anger at the military seizure of power, defying a ban on large gatherings. Anti-coup banners were unfurled as they arrived at the Victory Monument. Officials said the former Prime Minister would not be held for more than a week, but insisted that her detention was necessary while matters in the country were quote-unquote organized. Scuffles were reported between security personnel and protesters. A gunman has killed 6 people in drive-by shootings in the Californian city of Santa Barbara. The shooting took place last night, U.S. Western Standard Time, near the University of California, Santa Barbara, where 2/3 of the residents are students. The suspected gunman was found dead in his car with a bullet wound to the head. It is not clear whether the wound was self-inflicted. 7 other people are in hospital and are being treated for bullet wounds. The shootings occurred at several sites in the Isla Vista neighborhood, and there were 9 crime scenes, according to the police. Well, moving on to a story that most rugby fans must be anticipating. Trinity College Kandy retained the coveted Bradby Shield for a 4th consecutive year today. The second leg of the 70th annual Bradby encounter was worked off in Palikali. The Trinity Lions entered today's game with a first leg lead of 12 points. Playing with the support of a vocal home crowd, Trinity College drew first blood through a penalty and went on to score 6 points in the first half. Royal College meanwhile managed to score only 3 points. The Royalists played a more aggressive game in the second half and added 15 points to their tally. However, they were unable to overcome Trinity and eventually lost the second leg by 1 point. The final scoreline read 19 points to 18 in favour of Trinity College Kandy. The lads from Kandy, who amassed a total of 47 points to Royal College Colombo's 34, clinched victory of the 70th annual Bradby encounter and retained the Bradby Shield. This is incidentally the 40th occasion on which Trinity College Kandy has won the coveted title. Ramesh Irukar Bandara joins us now with the weather.
A very good evening and welcome to Weather First. Let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Well, we have mild weather conditions predicted throughout the eastern coast of the country. We'll first focus on the Jaffna area, where we have mainly sunny weather conditions with a bit of cloud cover with a possibility of highs of around 33 degrees Celsius. Batticaloa is a different story. We have sunny weather conditions over here in Batticaloa all day long with a slight cloud cover coming in towards the evening hours of the day tomorrow. Well, Hambantota, same story, sunny weather conditions with possible highs of around 32 degrees Celsius with possible lows of around 26. Central Hills, same as today. We have thunder showers expected during the morning hours. However, the rest of the day will remain a bit cloudy and there is a slight possibility of rain occurring throughout the day tomorrow. Let's now focus our attention towards the western part of the island, where we have thunder showers expected in Colombo, Galle and Mathura as well. Now in Colombo, rain and thunder showers are expected throughout the day, with temperatures standing around 31 degrees high and a low of around 26 degrees. Galle, some rain is expected during the morning hours, with a possibility of isolated thunder showers developing towards the evening. Now it's the same story in the Mathura area as well. Thunder showers expected during the morning hours, with rain, a possibility of rain during the evening. Let's now take a look at the weather forecast for some of the other cities in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Ramesh. Well, great weather to hit the pristine beaches in the eastern part of the country. Well, with that, we conclude tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Mahina Bongzo. Good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.